Wyman was born as William George Perks in Lewisham Hospital in Lewisham South London, the son of bricklayer William George Perks and Kathleen née Jeffery. One of 6 children, he spent most of his early life in Penge Southeast London. Wyman described his wartime childhood as scarred by poverty, having survived the Blitz and enemy fighter plane strafing that killed neighbours. Wyman attended Oakfield Primary School, passing his 11+ exam to gain entry to Beckenham and Penge County Grammar School from 1947 to Easter 1953, leaving before the GCE exams, after his father found him a job working for a bookmaker and insisted that he take it. In January 1955, Wyman was called up for 2-year national service in the Royal Air Force. In the autumn, after signing for an extra year, he was posted to Oldenburg Air Base in North Germany, where he spent the rest of his service in the motor transport section. He heard the beginnings of rock and roll in dance halls, such as Zum Grünen Wald, and after purchasing a radio also on American Forces Network. In August 1956, he bought a guitar for 400 Deutsche Mark, and in 1957, formed a skiffle group on camp with Casey Jones. Wyman took piano lessons from age 10 to 13, a year after his marriage on the 24th of October 1959 to Diane Cory, an 18-year-old bank clerk. He bought a Burns electric guitar for £52 on hire purchase but was not satisfied by his progress. He switched to bass guitar after hearing one at a Barron Knights concert. He created a fretless electric bass guitar by removing the frets on a second-hand UK-built Dallas Tuxedo bass and played this in a South London band, the Cliftons, in 1961. He legally changed his surname to Wyman in August 1964, taking the phonetic surname of a friend, Lee Whyman, with whom he had done national service in the Royal Air Force from 1955 to 1957. When drummer Tony Chapman told him that a rhythm and blues band called the Rolling Stones needed a bass player, he auditioned at a pub in Chelsea on the 7th of December 1962 and was hired as a successor to Dick Taylor. The band were impressed by his instrument and amplifiers, one of which Wyman modified himself, and a Vox AC30. Wyman was the oldest member of the group. In addition to playing bass, Wyman frequently provided backing vocals on early records and through 1967 in concert as well. He wrote and sang lead on the track In Another Land from the album Their Satanic Majesties Request, which was released as a single and credited solely to Wyman, making it his first official solo single. The song is one of 2 Wyman compositions released by the Rolling Stones. The second is Downtown Suzie on Metamorphosis, a collection of Rolling Stones outtakes. The title Downtown Suzie was chosen by their erstwhile manager Allen Klein without consulting Wyman or the band. The original title was Sweet Lisle Lucy, named after Lisle Street, a street in the red light district in Soho, London. Wyman was close to Brian Jones. They usually shared rooms while on tour and often went to clubs together. He and Jones hung out together even when Jones was distancing himself from the band. Wyman was distraught when he heard the news of Jones' death, being one of 2 members to attend Jones' funeral in July 1969. Wyman was also friends with guitarist Mick Taylor. Like the other Rolling Stones, he has worked with Taylor since the latter's departure from the band in 1974. Wyman has kept a journal throughout his life, beginning when he was a child, and used it in writing his 1990 autobiography Stone Alone and his 2002 book Rolling with the Stones. In Stone Alone, Wyman states that he composed the riff of Jumpin' Jack Flash with Brian Jones and drummer Charlie Watts. Wyman mentions that I Can't Get No Satisfaction was released as a single only after a 3-2 vote within the band. Wyman, Watts, and Jones voted for, Jagger and Keith Richards against, feeling it not sufficiently commercial. In 1983, Wyman helped organize a fundraiser for action research into multiple sclerosis in the form of a concert tour with a group calling themselves Willie and the Poor Boys. The group played shows in the US and the UK that included a rotating group of guest musicians, including Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page. After the Rolling Stones' 1989-90 Steel Wheels, or Urban Jungle tours, Wyman left the band in January 1993. The Rolling Stones have continued to record and tour with Daryl Jones on bass, but not as an official member of the band. Wyman, although moderate in his use of alcohol and drugs, has stated that he became girl mad as a psychological crutch. Wyman married his first wife, Diane Cory, in 1959, and their son Stephen Paul Wyman was born on the 29th of March 1962. They separated in 1967 and divorced in 1969. On the 2nd of June 1989, aged 52, Wyman married 18-year-old Mandy Smith, whom he had fallen in love with when she was 13, and according to Smith, had a sexual relationship with when she was 14. The couple separated 2 years later and finalized their divorce 2 years after that. In April 1993, Wyman married model Susanna Costa, whom he first met in 1980. The two had remained friends until their romance developed. The couple have 3 daughters. In 1993, Wyman's son Stephen Wyman married Patsy Smith, the 46-year-old mother of Bill's ex-wife Mandy Smith. Stephen was 30 years old at the time. Consequently, the ex-Rolling Stone became his own son's ex-son-in-law, the father-in-law of his ex-mother-in-law, as well as the step-grandfather of his ex-wife. Wyman is a photographer who has taken photographs throughout his career, and in June 2010 he launched a retrospective of his work in an exhibition in St. Paul de Vence. The exhibition included images of his musical and artistic acquaintances from the south of France, including Marc Chagall. In 2013, the Rook and Raven Gallery in London hosted an exhibition of a selection of Wyman's images, which had been reworked by artists including Gerald Scarfe,